2,000 years ago, in the mythical the crowd is mortified by this, but the process doesn't stop. Finally, Xipes bows his head and concedes defeat. But amidst the crowd, someone is enraged that Anos has defeated a royal. Anos makes his way over to the magic power test and places his hand on the crystal. It doesn't read his power, but gets shattered instead. Misha, being one of the few who can see through his absurd ego, realizes that the crystal had broken because he has too much power, and Anos is impressed by her. She reveals that she has demonic eyes, which is why she's able to see through his ability. They move on to the final test, where they are asked different questions about the Demon King. And of course, Anos answers them all easily. Dusk settles, and he makes his way out of the academy grounds. He spots Misha and is surprised that she has waited for him. He then invites her over to his place to celebrate being accepted into the academy. Using teleportation magic, they instantly appear before his house. Anos and Misha step in, only to find Anos' mother waiting for them. She greets her son happily and embraces him in a hug after hearing that he passed the test. She reveals how proud she is of him, having been born only 1 month ago. Anos then introduces Misha to her, and she begins to overreact, wondering how a 1-month-old child will bring home a wife. His father suddenly joins the drama, congratulating his son, and Misha can't help but wonder why they are jumping to conclusions. They settle down to have dinner, and Anos's mother interrogates Misha about how she had met her son. As expected, she overreacts to every answer, and Misha smiles seeing her liveliness. After dinner, Anos walks Misha back home and they engage in small talk. Misha tells him about her family, and Anos talks about his past. They share a bonding moment, and Anos declares her to be his friend going forward. Suddenly, a huge wall is constructed around them, and Zepes' brother, Demon Lord Leorg Indu, appears, coming back for revenge. Zepes appears beside him, being rather boastful. However, Leorg grabs him by the collar, striking him dead with lightning magic. Anos, in his usual condescending manner, can't understand his logic, and Leorg reveals that he is a descendant of the demon Pureblood, who has inherited the nobility of the demon king of tyranny. He activates his magic, but the pompous ignoramus, Anos, makes it go out of control. Leorg tries to change his strategy, using origin magic on him, but this doesn't work on Anos, and he explains to them that origin magic cannot work on the originator himself. He then turns Zepes into a zombie, making the brothers fight each other. The two brothers meet their end in an instant. After resurrecting both of them, Anos thoroughly admonishes them, expressing his disappointment at how much people have lost power in the last 2,000 years. He turns his back on them, walking away, and Leorg asks who he is. With a condescending smile, he boldly declares that he is Anos Voldigoad, the demon king of tyranny reincarnated. Back in the mythical age, the demon king, that pompous jerk Anos, is approached by the hero. They discuss the tedious battle between the demons and humans, and Anos, in his typical know-it-all fashion, shares some profound insights about the war. He declares that the war will never end unless one of the species is wiped out, and if humans win, the war will not end, and they will keep finding new enemies until they turn on themselves. Anos, the egotistical moron, asks the hero to trust him and proposes an idea that will bring about peace. The hero can't help but wonder what this Misha constructs 3 castles with her spell, and Sasha's team tries to come up with a counter strategy. However, she is suddenly notified of Anos's presence at their base. He easily hears their conversation, calling their encryption spell weak, but Sasha, despite seeing the overpowered cheats ability, isn't phased, believing that he can't win on his own. Anos walks up to their wall. However, Sasha calls his attempt to break through futile. Anos calls her naive and easily breaks through, throwing the castle into the air with brute strength alone. After spinning them around, he then tosses the castle into the distance, wondering if he had been too easy on them. Feeling frustrated, Sasha calls for the use of a grand magic spell. Her teammates are worried about this, but she expresses her determination, and they all conform. Seeing this, Anos is impressed and would like to make her a comrade. Their grand spell is complete, and she backs it up with her demonic eye of destruction. A magic cannon is launched at Anos, but he easily cancels it out with a simple spell, sending them flying. Anos appears before Sasha, and she can't believe how strong he is. He asks her to keep her promise, but she tries to kill him with her demonic eye spell, which he cancels out very easily. He asks her to join his team because her sister wants to be on the same team as her. Hearing this, Sasha seems surprised, and Misha rushes to her side. Begrudgingly, Sasha accepts to be on his team, and Anos compliments her beautiful eyes. Sasha is stunned at this, but Anos is talking about her demonic eye. He takes the 2 ladies to his home, and after his parents' overreaction about Anos bringing home 2 ladies, they all settle down to have a meal together. After dinner, Sasha asks Misha if she likes Anos, and the girl admits this. Anos walks the 2 ladies who has the same eyes as her. She then remembers that Misha used to be like that, recalling a time in the past when Misha had tried to comfort her after she had hidden away from everyone else. Misha had been kind to her, and she expressed her sincere gratitude to Misha, asking her sister to forgive her. Misha says she's not mad, and the 2 sisters have a proper reunion. The following day at school, Misha asks that arrogant twit Anos what she can get her sister for her birthday, and he says Sasha should be pleased with anything she decides. Just then, Sasha arrives, taking a seat beside them. She informs Anos that her former teammates want to be on his team, and Anos, in his usual smug manner, reveals that he already turned them down, much to Sasha's dismay. Sasha then explains to him that there need to be at least 5 people in the group to even qualify for certain competitions, and Anos, the clueless fool, can't help but be surprised by such a rule. The class begins in earnest, and the lecturer informs them that the Demon King of Tyranny is expected to reawaken this year. Hence, one of the 7 elder demon emperors will be taking a special class with them. Anos, the self-absorbed moron, doesn't seem to have heard of them before, and Sasha explains to him that the Demon King had used his blood to create 7 subordinates who will later be known as the first demon clan to be descended from the founder. She then explains that they are the 7 referred to as the 7 elder demon emperors who created the school to develop future demon lords. Hearing this, Anos can't help but feel something odd, believing that they should have been aware of his presence by now. Just then, the teacher calls Anos, asking him to be on his best behavior, and he agrees with a smug smile. One of the emperors, Lord Ivus Necron, enters the class, and everyone stiffens up at his presence. Seeing him, Anos greets him in a casual manner, saying, "Long time no see," and everyone expresses their shock. Even the teacher is mortified, declaring that they will expel Anos in a bid to appease the Emperor. The Emperor says there's no need for that, inquiring with Anos why he's so familiar with him. Anos tries to jog his memories, but he announces that he has lost his memories from 2,000 years ago, except for the memory of the Demon King himself. However, seeing as he doesn't remember him, Anos places his hand on the Emperor's head, and everyone gasps in shock. But Anos is trying to look into his memories, and he observes something strange. Witnessing this, the Emperor can't help but wonder who he is, and Anos tells him to meet up later for a chat. Everyone is still surprised by his actions, unable to recover. The class proceeds as though nothing had happened, and the Emperor teaches the class about fusion magic. Sasha boasts about mastering the technique, being a secret technique of the Necron family, hence she doesn't need to take notes. However, she admonishes him for not taking notes, but he helps her understand that he is already committing it to memory. They talk about the 7 emperors, and Anos makes another observation. After the class, Anos meets up with the Emperor, who asks him about what he had done to him. Anos explains that he had tried to jog his memories, but he discovered that his name had been changed to Avos Dilhevia, just as he had observed from Misha's thoughts. The Emperor asks if he is the demon king of tyranny himself, and Anos, the self-important twit, affirms this, revealing his true name. and asking if the teacher would have treated royalty the same way. The teacher warns Misa about the prohibition of Unitarian campaigns on campus and threatens punishment if she doesn't sit down. Anos, the pompous idiot, interjects, suggesting they simply find the culprit. He then confronts one of the royal students, extracting the stolen scepter from them. He returns it to the teacher and criticizes her for setting him up. The teacher punishes the students by sending them for training with one of the 7 elder demon emperors. After class, Misa thanks the egotistical Anos for standing up for her. Anos tells her not to worry and inquires about the Unitarians. Misa explains that Dilhade is ruled by pure-blood royalty, while hybrids are marginalized. The Unitarians campaign for the unification of the demon races. She invites Anos to join their cause, noting that Melheis supports them, which helps their campaign. Misha and Sasha confirm they believe Anos is the demon king of tyranny, and Misa invites them to join the Unitarians as well. They head to the Unitarian headquarters, also known as the Anos Fan Union. Inside, they see many misfits and artifacts. Misa explains to Anos that these items serve as evidence in case the Fan Union comes under suspicion. Anos comments on their lack of power, which Misa acknowledges. She takes him to a room with a special artifact and reveals that she is half demon, half spirit. Her father, likely royalty, left her a magic sword on her 10th birthday. She hopes for a future where hybrids are accepted and begs Anos to let the Unitarians join his team. The self-righteous moron agrees, wanting to see their resolve. In the arena, students try to pick up swords. Sasha notes the new student is supposed to arrive that day. Gaios announces a sword tournament, promising personal training to any student who can pull a sword. Anos meets Sasha, who struggles with a sword. He explains that only one sword, wielded by a hero, is made to annihilate him. As Anos commands a sword to him, Gaios challenges him. The new student, Lei, arrives and pulls a sword as well, defeating Anzel, and Anos is surprised by Lei's strength. In class, Lei refuses to be a team leader and requests to join Anos' team, shocking the teacher. Despite being labeled a misfit, the narcissistic dolt Anos accepts Lei's challenge, suggesting he should join another team if he wants an easy time. Anos instructs the Unitarians to join Lei's team and challenge him together. If they prove themselves, they can become his subordinates. Lei eagerly accepts, wanting to go against Anos. A competition between Lei's team and Anos' team begins. Lei strategizes with his teammates, feeling that the demon king of tyranny everyone speaks of is someone else entirely. Anos instructs his team, assigning Misha and Sasha to handle the rest while he takes on Lei. Misha builds a castle with impressive speed, using the power of the lily pad ice ring. Anos tells Sasha to trust her own source. He then teleports to meet Lei. overwhelmed and knocked down, yet their determination remains unyielding as they rise once more. As Amelia prepares to strike at Anos's mother, they urge her to flee with the sword, buying precious moments with their valiant stand. Tragically, Amelia kills the girls and continues her ruthless assault towards Anos's mother. Just as she is on the verge of delivering a fatal blow, the swaggering fool arrives and freezes her in her tracks. Turning his attention to his injured mother, Anos uses his magic to heal her swollen leg. With a solemn and respectful gesture, the egotist resurrects the fallen girls, asking for their names and expressing deep gratitude. He promises to remember them for eternity, honoring their sacrifice. Anos then teleports with Amelia to a secluded space. There, he confronts her with justice, ending her life before resurrecting her once more. However, he imposes a severe punishment, transforming her into a hybrid being and cursing her to reincarnate every time she attempts to end her own life. Back at the hospital, Lei discovers Misa sharing her source with his mother, despite the warnings about the potential dangers. Concerned for Misa's well-being, Lei decides to intervene and knocks her unconscious. At that moment, his mother regains consciousness and assures Lei that she is aware of everything. She encourages him to live his life freely and assures him of her unwavering support before slipping back into unconsciousness. After Lei leaves the hospital, Anos, the self-satisfied buffoon, appears and observes him from outside the window. His presence signals a silent acknowledgement of the events unfolding. The Dilhade Magic Sword Tournament finals commence the following day, setting the stage for the ultimate showdown between Lei and the arrogant dolt in the final match. Anos and Lei find themselves bound by bracelets designed to drain their magical powers, a new rule imposed by Owl, the announcer. These bracelets pose a dire threat, particularly to Sheila, whose spirit disease worsens due to their draining effect, potentially leading to her demise. Meanwhile, Lei faces the grim prospect that defeat will erase his entire source of power. Despite the debilitating drain from the bracelets, Lei fights with fierce determination. Each clash of their swords reveals the depth of Lei's resolve, though Anos soon discerns that Lei's true purpose is to stall until Anos's magical reserves are fully depleted. In a pivotal moment, Anos, our blockhead protagonist, manages to pierce Lei's heart with a decisive strike, severing the contract that binds them in combat. In response, Lei, sacrificing swiftly, severs Anos's left arm to prevent further draining by the bracelet. Their battleground abruptly shifts as they are transported to another dimension, where Owl sheds his guise and reveals himself as Melheis. With an air of sinister satisfaction, Melheis proclaims that his grand scheme is nearing its conclusion. As tension mounts, two formidable swordsmen materialize to confront Anos. However, Anos, the overconfident idiot, has a cunning plan of his own. He unexpectedly resurrects Lei and swiftly dispatches the swordsmen before their challenge can fully materialize. The sight of Lei revived sends shockwaves through Melheis, whose confidence wavers for a fleeting moment. Seizing the opportunity, Anos directs Lei to gaze into the abyss, where the true nature of Anos's final strike becomes starkly evident. It has shattered the magical contract embedded within the sword itself, altering the course of their destiny. state. The announcer Owl, now freed from Melheis's influence, regains its normal composure and announces Anos as the undisputed champion of the tournament, its voice resonating with clarity and respect. Before stepping away from the grand stage, Anos, the pretentious show-off, pauses to pay tribute to his father's unwavering support. He speaks of his father's determination to secure a sword worthy of the Demon King, a testament to their familial bond and shared legacy. Turning his attention to Lei and Lei's mother, who has been revived through Anos's profound understanding of tradition and magic, Anos shares a quiet moment of revelation with them. They marvel at his ability, wondering at the depth of his power and wisdom. Amidst the aftermath of the battle, Sasha, deeply moved by Anos's prowess and determination, approaches him with a token of gratitude. She presents him with a prestigious sword, a symbol of admiration for his triumph and leadership. In a spontaneous gesture that surprises even herself, she kisses Anos on the cheek, a blush coloring her cheeks as she hurriedly departs, leaving behind a trail of whispered admiration. As Anos, the self-absorbed jerk, takes his leave from the arena, the weight of his victories and the bonds he has forged settles upon him. 2 millennia ago, the pompous jerk Their conversation is cut short when Misha and Sasha knock on his door, requesting a minute. Anos, the overbearing blowhard, instructs the creature to continue its investigation, and then he meets with Misha and Sasha, who invite him to attend a festival celebrating the hero Jirga. At the festival, Anos, the self-important nincompoop, Misha and Sasha spot Lei with Misa at an archery booth. As Anos approaches them, Misha and Sasha stop him, deciding to eavesdrop instead. They observe Lei noticing Misa's dullness and encouraging her, mentioning she has brightened his life. After winning the archery competition, Lei chooses a necklace as a prize and gives it to Misa, making her happy. Anos and his group watch them leave. The next day, Misa's classmates ask her about the necklace. She explains that someone placed it on her and she can't remove it. Sasha tells Lei it was a nice present, and he asks if she was watching. She confirms and adds that the story behind the necklace is romantic. Anos explains the story of the Mishent's necklace. Misa's classmates tease Lei about when he will marry Misa. The inter-academy exams are about to commence. Anos mentions he can't find Eleanor, and Sasha wonders if she is sick. Diego announces the start of the exams, explaining the mission and the location, the lake. Diego ridicules the demon Diego explains. Diego mocks the Demon King Academy's weakness. Revest gains consciousness and apologizes to Minot, but she blames herself. Anos, the insufferable jackass, offers to heal Revest, but he doesn't agree. Then Anos explains a few things and questions Revest if he wouldn't swallow his pride and save his mentor Manu. Revest then reluctantly agrees. Revest reveals the hero's trick. Their school badges contain the magic. He begs Anos to avenge them, and Anos, the smug fool, agrees, healing him. Anos and his team confront the heroes, who claim they use their home field advantage. Haney jests that they should drain the lake if they're scared. Anos, the pompous idiot, accepts the challenge and evaporates the lake with a massive fireball. Diego is furious, but Anos commands the heroes to battle him. Diego tries to cancel the exam, but the students insist on continuing, hinting also that they will use their trump card and that Diego shouldn't fret. Menu commences round 2 of the exams, and a strange girl appears. As round 2 is about to commence, our moronic protagonist conjures his demon castle while the heroes have a conversation among themselves. Laos, obviously delusional, mentions that if Anos is the reincarnated demon king, he is the second most powerful next to Hero Kanon. Heine tries to comfort them as they hear Hero Kanon speaking to them, and Ledriano builds a holy castle, hearing a voice urging them to kill the demons. That numbskull Anos readies himself to attack, and the ever-patient Sasha and Misha ask about his plan. The buffoon says he'll come up with one if needed and releases a fireball at the hero castle. Naturally, a barrier blocks the fireball, and a girl uses her sword to extinguish it. The idiot notes that some heroes might pose a problem and explains that the barrier, Dea Gilia, reduces enemy power while enhancing ally skills. He instructs his subordinates, probably the only ones with any sense, not to go near it. The group brainstorms their next move, realizing they can't approach the barrier. Misha suggests building a castle inside the barrier, and Anos, in his typical dim-witted fashion, agrees, promising to protect her. Anos teleports inside the barrier and clumsily heals Misha, who begins creating the castle. The heroes spot them and are surprised by the demon's ability to use magic inside the barrier. Laos questions if they think they can build the castle unchallenged. A girl lands near the dimwit, and he compliments her strike, asking for her name. Ledriano responds on her behalf, introducing her as Zeshia Kanon Ijisika, the reincarnation of Hero Kanon's fourth source, wielding the Holy Sword of Light, Inhale. He adds that it can destroy the unfinished castle in one blow. The heroes aim their attack at Misha, who is focused on building the castle. The idiot uses his body as a shield to protect her, and the heroes boast about their multiple anti-demonic barrier spells. But Anos frees himself from their shackles and counterattacks with his spell, Girard. Zishia then attacks Anos, causing a blast that scatters the heroes. Sasha confronts Laos, introducing herself as his next opponent while Lei faces Heine. Laos releases a wide-range attack, causing Sasha to retreat briefly. They collide with their attacks, and Laos tries to attack again but seems unable to. Sasha taunts him, revealing she tampered with his school badge. Laos summons his sword and retrieves his badge, attacking Sasha with an upper hand. However, as he tries to strike Sasha, he feels extreme pain and vomits blood. Sasha reveals she tampered with his badge, causing the pain. She then destroys the barriers with her eyes, questioning Laos if he knows why she is called the Witch of Destruction, and inflicts more pain on him. Meanwhile, Lei is battling Heine, who seals him in an earthquake barrier and mocks him, saying everything but his sacred power is restrained. Heine summons the holy sword Zile, threatening Lei with its power. Lei swiftly slashes Heine's hands, explaining that his sword can transform and that he is testing it. The idiot observes their battle as Heine grows another hand and claims Lei's sword is fake. Lei questions if Heine wants him to use the real sword. Heine mocks Lei, doubting a demon can wield the holy sword, but is shocked when Lei wields Zile effectively. Lei then inflicts a stigma on Heine, showing his superiority. The oaf Anos approaches Ledriano, who is pretending to be dead. Anos tells him to stop faking, and Ledriano concedes, preparing to go all out against the idiot and summoning his sword, Belamente. Meanwhile, Zeshia launches a surprise attack on Anos, but he blocks and dodges her every move. The dunce questions if this is what Ledriano calls fair and square. Zeshia attempts to stab the moron in the chest, but he blocks it with a magic spell, grabs her sword, and slams her into the ground. At this moment, Ledriano tries a surprise attack as well, but the fool throws Zeshia at him. Realizing Anos' strength, Ledriano tells Zeshia they will use a particular move. All the hero students begin to chant, converting their voices to power. Ledriano calls it the power of love, as the heroes attack the dimwit together, making the battle more intense. Anos rises to the challenge, instructing his group to cheer him on and asking for their love, which they begin to do. The battle intensifies with Anos looking victorious, and Ledriano exclaims it is impossible. Anos explains that it is not the number of voices that matter, but the urgency of those feelings, and the ability to unify souls. He states that what Ledriano just showed him cannot compare to the emotions Hero Canon shouldered alone 2,000 years ago. Suddenly they hear a voice saying to kill the Demon King of Tyranny. Misha identifies it as a brainwashing spell and instructs everyone to think of Anos instead. Misha meets with him, mentioning the voice sounded like pure hatred. Ledriano declares the moron dangerous and vows to end him. The dunce tells Misha to leave and instructs Zeshia not to unleash her spell, warning it won't end well for her. Ledriano, however, insists he will show the fool what heroes are made of, his subordinates not to die and not to kill, explaining they can't let anyone lose their life over trivial matters. He gives specific battle orders. The Azishion forces have taken ground, but the first to strike will be the Dilhade forces. Misha and Sasha stop the troops gathering in the west, while Lei and Misa demolish the troops in the east. Lei easily takes out the army, but reinforcements arrive, attacking Lei and Misa. Lei tells Misa to hide, stating the reinforcements look formidable, and he engages them. Anos instructs Melheis and his men to subdue the 7 Elder Demon Emperors, while he takes on Avos de la Via himself. He launches an attack at the castle, flies over the area, and declares to the army that he, Anos Voldigoad, is the true Demon King. The army tries to attack the imbecile, but he offers to enlighten them about the true Demon King's power. As the Demon Emperors approach, Melheis tells Anos to leave them to him and head to the castle. Anos agrees, reaching the castle gate, which opens up. Misa reports to Anos that she can't find Lei anywhere. Melheis reports he has captured Medoan, Zoro, and Eldora, who were being manipulated by Avos. Anos instructs them to be fused with the source of Avos, but Melheis mentions that the sources have fled their hosts. Anos decides to handle Avos himself. He confronts Avos, using a dark veil to cover the area for a one-on-one battle. Avos, expecting him, summons his sword, and they begin to fight. During the battle, the fool notices the necklace and realizes Avos is actually Hero Canon. He questions Avos, referencing him as Canon, and it is revealed that Avos is Lei. Lei asks how the idiot figured it out, stating he thought he had made Anos think he was dead. Anos then explains that it was the necklace, stating that although Lei had lost his past life's memories, he still recognized the necklace and called it a single shell, indicating he remembered his past. Anos questions who Lei truly is, mentioning that Shin would never lie to him, and that no demon can wield both a unique sword and a holy sword. He deduces that if the great hero resurrected as a demon, it would make sense he could wield both. He adds that even if Lei is canon, there is no reason to hide it unless he is afraid of being asked about his remaining 6 sources. Anos reveals that Avos Dilhevia had fused the sources of every demon emperor but Melheis, making it 7 in all, just like Hero Canon. The moron further explains that Lei didn't want him to find out that he has been playing the role of the fake demon king Avos Dilhevia. He mentions things that happened that weren't part of Avos' plans, adding that he doesn't know Lei's backstory but believes the tears Lei shed for his mother were genuine. Anos concludes that Lei must be trying to save something now, just as he did 2,000 years ago. Lei admits it's as Anos said, explaining that humans were weak. Lei tells Anos that Yurga's followers murdered him and devised a plot to annihilate Anos in 2,000 years. He explains that he needs to rectify that mistake and that Evan's mana has the power to nullify even destiny. Lei used this power to nullify Anos' destiny to reincarnate as the Demon King of Tyranny, which is why Anos' name was forgotten and history was gradually rewritten, leading to the creation of the bogus Demon King, Avos Dilhevia. Lei never thought Anos would uncover this plot. Anos replies that Lei and humorous scene. They all go in and have dinner together, enjoying a moment of peace and togetherness after the long and arduous battles they have endured.